Happy Saturday, you guys. I hope y'all are having an amazing day. Today has been a day of downloads, a day of ahas, a day of like, wow. I felt like so many things were coming through to my soul that my body like processing it is not keeping up with my soul. It's like my mind and body is not it's like coming so fast. So I was like, was sitting down to journal about everything that was going on, and then something told me to just open up Facebook, and I just was scrolled a little bit, and I saw this message from, of all things, I wrote it down. It was called BetterHelp Therapy, and it's an app that you can use in services for therapists, and it was talking about grief and processing your grief, and I found it very fascinating in like this message that spoke to me, and it's I'll share it with you. And so like the main message of it is that you have to process your own grief first before you, and there's a layer, like your first layer you have to process on your own, is what she was saying, that she learned from her therapist, and that until then you can open up the space to hold another person's grief. And her specifically was speaking upon in her personal life of going through divorce and struggling with when to tell people about it. And her therapist was talking to her about processing her layer of grief around that specifically before she opens space to talk to others, because other people will have their own grief and their own perceptions and how they look at it differently, especially those that love you. And they're when you're opening up about something personal like that in your life, it can be hard to discern between what's their truth and your truth. And I found that really fascinating. And so what I gathered from her experience that she shared, which is why I love to do this, I love to share, to go through my own things, process, grow, learn, and evolve, to be able to share with other people your journey, and that helps somebody else, and that touches another life, and that inspires another soul. And so that right there brings me joy. It lights me up, and I love that. I love everything about it. And so I found it so interesting because I'll read what she said. The people who love you will have their own grief process, and it will look differently than yours. Yes, it can look like sadness. It can also look like judgment, unsolicited advice, anger, shock, and projection. And you just have to start that process of moving through your own grief before you can hold space for somebody else's grief. Because if you don't do that, you could actually confuse their anger or their judgment and opinions and perspectives for your own. So it's so important and priceless, so valuable to process things on your own first. And for me, I gathered affirmations from this. I wrote for myself. I took what she expressed and applied it in my own life. Because when you do start to open up to people about things in life that you're grieving, whether that be, like for her, she's going through a divorce and she was having a hard time when to tell people. It could be going through a divorce. It could be going through the death of a loved one. It could be the death of self, a rebirth, the death of the old you and the birth of the new you, and the grief that comes with that. And so once you get through that process, and then you do come to that space where, okay, I'm going to open up and I'm going to share this with people, then you get to see clearly what is theirs and what is yours. And that right there, clarity in one's life, is another priceless thing. That way you are in one with you and your creator, and you have processed through these things, so that when you do come to that place to open up and express with those you love in your life, and they're going to have their feedback, they're going to have their own thoughts and opinions and projections and feelings and their own grief process in their timing in their life, you'll know the difference between what's yours and theirs, and you can see that clarity with so much clarity. So the beauty that I see in this for my life that I'll get to share with you is I lost my best friend, Gracie, October 30th. And this has been the hardest thing of my life ever. And the depth that it hit my soul with grief that I'm currently navigating and learning, and the work that me and her did together, hearing all of this is helping me to apply that to my own grieving process with grieving the loss of my soulful sister. And the work that we did, she loves this. She loves this whole process of everything. And so I get to apply that to my own grief. I'm living with this experience of loss in my own personal life. And I know that she would love for me to be able to use this experience to help others. And so I know that in order to help another soul that has gone through a grief like this, I must first process my own first layer. And I'm going to do that, and I am doing that with my Heavenly Father, with God first, before I bring in others into this. And I have my therapist, my first session of the year, of the new year, next week. I'm so grateful for that. I'm looking forward to that. And I will be able to heal within my own self and then continue this mission that me and my friends started on together. This bigger than anything humanly explainable, and carry out what we were doing together. And so with all of that said, I will share with you the affirmations that I wrote for myself, and I hope that they reach you and touch you, and maybe if this is something you're going through as well, that it can help you along your journey through grief. The first one is, I process my first layer of grief on my own with my Creator. The second is, I move through my own grief with my Heavenly Father with ease, flow, and clarity, therefore opening space for me to hold space for somebody else's grief. And third, I see clearly what is mine and what is not mine. And to my beautiful friend and soul sister, Gracie Roca, her message, live your best life, live heaven on earth. So my friends, let's do that. Let's live our best lives, live heaven on earth, and just live from the heart with love.